At 6 minutes after 6, and this is the South African morning. You may have missed it on Tuesday, where we had a hugely contested race between our reporters in trying to determine who can get to work quicker using their vehicles. This time around, we also have them using public transport. So Nobesuthu Hejana won the race, or the car race, through peak hour traffic on Tuesday morning here on the South African morning. But Dasen Thathiah and Heidi Giokos are disputing that win. So this morning, they're back, this time using public transport to get to work. Now we want to know who can really win this race during peak hour using public transport. We'll start with you, Heidi Giokos. Good morning to you, and tell us, you have a guest with you. How are you feeling this morning?
Yes, I just want to say that Nobesuthu was very excited just the other day, claiming that she won, and Dasen insists that he came second place. But let's see what happens when I arrive at the office first. But yes, we are using the Gautrain this morning. Public transport, of course, instead of using your private vehicle to get to work and sitting in peak hour traffic. And we are going to be using the Gautrain all the way from Midrand to Rosebank, and then I'm going to be hopping onto a bus from Rosebank to Hyde Park, where our offices are based. But I just want to get some perspective about the Gautrain service and how efficient it actually is. We are joined by Tsepo, who is the COO for Gautrain Management Authority. Thank you so much for your time, Tsepo. There's a lot at stake here. I have to win this race. Nobesuthu is racing from Cape Town, and Dasen is in Durban. But speak to us about the efficiencies of the Gautrain and the convenience of it.
So when you're looking at our efficiency and looking at our availability, on most days we run at 100% punctuality, 100% availability, which means that the chances of you not winning today are not there. Between stations, in most cases, between 4.5 and 5 minutes. So to Rosebank, you'll probably be there in just under, what do they call it, 17 minutes. And then from then onwards, the bus will then take you directly to Hyde Park. Our buses normally leave probably about 5 to 10 minutes after the train has arrived. So they are all synchronized with the train. So when you arrive, then there's enough time to walk up to where the bus is, and then from then onwards, the bus leaves. And the 10 minutes is left there so that, even people that were struggling to get through the system, they would be able to get to the bus on time. And also, generally, as you can see, our throughput through our gates is quite quick. You tap and then you go. You can use any method of payment. You can use your credit card, you can use your debit card, preloaded debit card, you can use your Apple Pay, your Samsung Pay, you can use your wearables like your smartwatches, as long as they can pay me. That's the more important part.
Okay, I want to ask you though about the payments, because things aren't easy, life is getting more and more expensive. Speak to us about the price factor, how that's considered, and how when customers passengers want to use the Gautrain, that some of them might say, well, I have to rethink this because of the price factor.
So our pricing is based on what's called the temporal strategy. So that means time-based strategy. So there is a peak hour, which is probably between 6:30 and 7:30. And sometimes it goes all the way to 8 o'clock. Now, what we try and do is make sure that we have enough seats for everybody all around. So if you travel just before 6:30 or you travel after 8, then the price is highly discounted. In some cases, when you travel even beyond 9 o'clock, we talk about 20% discount of the price itself. So there is a benefit in us being able to spread the peak to limit overcrowding on the system itself, but also for the convenience, comfort, and for you to be able to sit properly. So the price is designed like that. Yes, it is what they call it, a little bit higher than, but we have by the normal public transport. But what we've done with it is we've made sure it is less than what we call the perceived price of using your own vehicle. Because when you talk to somebody about how much does it cost to use your vehicle, they simply think of the cost of buying the vehicle as a sunk cost. And what they think about is more maintenance and fuel and lubricants and tires. And in general, our cost per kilometer overall is far, far cheaper than you using your vehicle on a daily basis. Don't forget the convenience factor of you not sitting the whole hour, because from here to Rosebank and all the way to Hyde Park in normal Gauteng traffic, that would probably be an hour to 45 minutes in this type of traffic. So there is that convenience factor. So you are paying for the convenience in itself.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. We'll be on the train with you. And Cindy, I actually need to rush because my train is leaving in a few minutes. And I'm not going to be caught sleeping because I'm winning this race.
Certainly. May the best team member win. Good luck to you, Heidi. Good luck to Nobesuthu. Good luck to Dasen. We'll catch up with you. Heidi, I think you might have an unfair advantage because you're on the speed train, the Gautrain, of course. But we have Nobesuthu now, who's traveling from Stellenbosch to Cape Town. Good morning to you, Nobesuthu.
Morning, Cindy. We are at the Kayamandi Taxi rank here in Stellenbosch, and you know what? Heidi's saying that her bus, or rather her train, had to rush. She had to rush off to get her train, and a taxi just left now. So as you can see, it's still empty. So I'll be the first in line to wait for this particular taxi to go to town. So I'm told it takes about 20 minutes for it to get full with the passengers to go to town, but you know what, it's fine. I'm taking one for the team because I won on Tuesday. But I'm joined by the vice chairperson of CATA here in Stellenbosch, Mr. Dasen Thathiah, who's just going to be telling us about some of the struggles or other challenges that they face, especially when the road is congested and when there's traffic. How do they maneuver? Do they double up? Or all of those things. Mr. Thathiah, thank you so much for your time. Obviously, we've missed our taxi, so now I have to wait for this particular taxi. Just tell us about some of the congested roads that you would normally take the route to go to town.
Yes, so okokuqala itaxi mayiphuma apha eStellenbosch at this time noko traffic it's better. Then when it comes to ulando xa ijoyina u-N2 especially pha xa udlula pha eNyanga towards ujonge Orlando or Atlo no Langa, so kulapho ngoyiqala khona ke ngoku i-traffic yethu. Then ke ngoku itaxi at the moment izawuthatha, because namhlanje bekho i-load shedding eLand ekuseni, and then izawuthatha 20 to 30 minutes ugcwala because of i-delay esendlini.
And i-trip eya etown ithatha ixesha elingakanani?
I-trip etown kuba ke ngoku oodriver bethu sibaxelela ukuthi bareye into badrive ngehlobo umthetho wendlela uqhuba ngalo. I-trip yethu ngu-1.5 hour okanye 2 hours.
And ungatsho mhlambi itaxi is convenient for abantu xa besuka mhlambi apha ukuya emisebenzini okanye kwezi locations baya kuzo.
Sisimndinqelana kakhulu neteksi because itaxi wena sisiwami noko ubufast sinabo, especially into ebangela uba kude kube njena necandelo lakwa-rail elilingasebenziyo lelibangela uba ke kude kube lehlobo, kodwa itaxi zezona zi-convenient for umntu uba zimphangelise.
So sikwi-race apha, so funeke siwinile. Can you guarantee uba siyawina si-racer between i-Durban ne-Joburg?
Ndi-guaranteed kakhulu because itaxi zasetyenziswa kwakude kudala but ziyakwazi ukuyenza into yazo.
Well, Cindy, that was Mr. Mayezana, the chairperson of CATA here in Stellenbosch. He's saying that we are definitely going to win because, one, the taxis are faster, they have a bus lane, they travel in a specific lane on the N2, and he does mention that sometimes there are issues of load shedding like this morning, and he's saying that we might take about 20 to 30 minutes to fill this particular taxi, but our trip is expected to take about 1.5 hours to town. But you know what, I do have hope that we will win this race this morning.
No, Nobesuthu, if maybe you could ask, can you pay for all the other passengers? I know that you have to wait in line until the taxi is fully occupied, but can you pay for other passengers even if they're not there, and then you can, go ahead and start your race?
So we do have that arrangement, and our agreement with Mr. Mayezana was that we're at least going to have half of the taxi, and then we will pay for the rest of the empty chairs. But I mean, we do see some people coming in. We don't want to leave them behind for the convenience of our race. So we'll be trying to at least help them also to get into this taxi.
All right, the best of luck to you and the other team members. We go to Durban now. Dasen, you are catching a bus from Lamontville to Durban. How's that going for you?
Cindy, firstly, I did overhear that conversation with Nobesuthu, and it sounds a lot like you may have chosen sides already just because she won the previous round, or claims that she did. But you need to be impartial here. so yeah, we are.
You know what? It's because I can relate. I can relate having to take taxis and using public transport, and there's nothing worse than having to stand in line and wait for other people before the taxi can start its route. So, yeah, guilty as charged. But how's it going with you?
I agree. I agree completely. In fact, this is quite a flashback for me. It reminds me of the times that I was taking public transport to get to university and to school as well. And you know what? This is the reality here. Because if you look at the other day, we started at 6:30 and we were in Umlazi traveling towards Umhlanga. And we got there, I think it was after 8 o'clock. But if you look at where we are coming from today, from Lamontville, many of the commuters that were there were already waiting for the bus at 5 a.m. in the morning. The bus left the depot at 5. It made its way to its first stop in Lamontville. That's where it circled the area. It picked up a number of people throughout. You'll just take a look at this bus. This bus is now full. It's heading in the direction of the CBD. That's when it'll also make another stop, and it will then move towards Umhlanga. And because the day starts so early, one of the other things that we're obviously looking at is the other challenges that people encounter when they travel. We spoke previously about how before you even leave the house, you need to worry about whether you have electricity and water. And then once you're on the road, there are other sorts of delays, like the bus itself. There are the delays of traffic jams and accidents and all of those things. And it has implications for people that are getting to work. In fact, let me just take a walk slightly in here. Sorry, Ma, hello. Tell me, where are you traveling to today?
I'm traveling to Umhlanga. I'm waiting at Umhlanga.
Okay. So for you to be waiting for the bus at 5, what time does your day start and what time do you need to get ready?
I'm ready at 4:30 in the morning. And then I took the bus at the bus stop at 5:30.
So how does it affect you when we have issues like load shedding, for example, in the morning when you have to get ready for work? I mean, are you sometimes dealing with issues of no water before you leave home?
It's bad. It's bad for the cold water. When I wake up, the electricity, there is no electricity. So I need to use cold water. And all the time when I'm using the cold water, I have a flu. Yeah. Because it's cold, and I've got sick all the time.
And I have to ask you this because I think it's something many people experience. Because of these delays, you can't plan what happens on the road. There can be delays with the bus, for example. Do you have to explain to your employer? Do you find yourself having to explain to your employer why you are late, or are they understanding?
Yes, I explained to my lawyer, to my manager. So they said there is nothing, and there is many traffic in the road. When I'm late, there is a question all the time, and they gave me a warning to say if I can't reach the time, it's gonna fired. So yeah.
No, thank you so much for chatting to us. Cindy, that's one of the stories here that we even heard as some of the commuters were jumping in. They were stressed because they were saying that, look, if we don't get to work on time, we can find ourselves in a situation much like that one, getting a warning, for example. So these are some of the realities. We are on board. We'll be here for the next probably 2 hours or so. Hopefully, by the time I do make it to the office, I'll be having my first cup of coffee while my two overly confident teammates are still making their way to their respective places of work.
Yeah, and a huge appreciation to you guys, and also for highlighting the challenges that ordinary South Africans face, for the mere fact that the lady you were speaking to starts her day so early, 4 o'clock, and of course having to deal with the load shedding, using cold water to bath, and to commute to work where the transport system in itself may not be accurate or reliable, the threat of possibly being fired from your work for being consistently late. It's just truly, truly difficult having to commute to work for many South Africans, and thank you for highlighting their plight. And I hope that will also just bear thought when you and I are sitting in these air-conditioned offices, you drive your private vehicle, to also just spare a thought for those who have to rely on public transport.